Imagine this, nearly doubling your muscle growth without lifting heavier weights, taking any supplements, or spending more time in the gym, just simply by tweaking how you perform each rep. Sounds like hype, right? But it's not. It's real. It's backed by research, and it might be the biggest untapped lever in your training. Most people chase gains by piling on more plates or grinding out extra sets. But what if the real secret isn't about doing more, it's about doing it smarter? Here's the real game changer. Every rep you do has two crucial phases, the contraction and the stretch. Most people only care about the squeeze, the peak of the rep when the muscle is fully flexed. That's the part that looks good in the mirror, so it gets all the attention. But if you're chasing real, lasting growth, the magic doesn't happen at the top. It happens at the bottom. Recent research is flipping the old school mindset on its head. The stretch portion of a lift, when your muscle is under tension at its longest length, isn't just a transition between reps. It's the most potent stimulus for hypertrophy. This is what we call stretch emphasis training. When you train a muscle in its stretched position under load, you create higher levels of mechanical stress, activate deeper muscle fibers, and spark a bigger muscle building response than you'd get from focusing on the squeeze. Think of it like this. The stretch is where your muscle gets humbled. It's where you fight gravity, stay in control, and force the fibers to adapt. That's where change happens. You're not just lifting weights anymore. You're strategically targeting the most growth-prone zone of each rep. And if you start giving as much attention to the stretch as you do to the contraction, your physique will thank you in a big way. Why does this matter? Because your body responds to high tension with growth. The more tension placed on the muscle, especially when it's fully stretched, the more it adapts by building size and strength. And researchers have proven it. In multiple studies across different muscle groups, biceps, triceps, quads, hamstrings, and even calves, training in the stretched position consistently produced greater hypertrophy than focusing on just the top or middle range. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works, why it's so powerful, and how you can start using it in your own training right now. You'll learn how to pick the right exercises, how to adjust your tempo and range, and how to build more muscle without having to overhaul your entire program. And yes, we'll have some fun along the way. So stay tuned, because the stretch is where the real gains begin. The real secret behind unlocking more muscle growth might not be lifting heavier or training longer. It's how you train each rep. The key lies in something called stretch emphasis training, targeting your muscles when they're under tension in their longest, most stretched position. Every time you perform a rep, your muscle shortens to lift the weight and lengthens as you lower it. And while most people chase that peak contraction or focus on the pump, the real magic happens on the way down, when your muscle is stretched under load. Researchers call this phenomenon stretch-mediated hypertrophy, and it's not just some fringe theory. It's grounded in solid science and has been confirmed across multiple muscle groups. Think of the stretched portion of each rep as a pressure point for growth. When you load your muscles at those longer lengths, you create mechanical tension that sends an extremely powerful growth signal, a signal that's often stronger than what you get from squeezing at the top. Take biceps, for example. In one clever study, women trained only the bottom half of the preacher curl with one arm, near full extension, where the muscle is stretched, and the top half with the other. The stretched arm group saw significantly more growth at the far end of the muscle, the portion most people struggle to build. The top half arm? Barely any change. It's not just biceps. When untrained women did leg extensions targeting either the deep range or the top range, the group that trained only the bottom half saw 2 to 3 times more quad growth. That's more than the full range reps delivered. Same goes for triceps. Training with the arm overhead, where the long head is stretched, resulted in 1.5 times more growth than standard pushdowns. Even the stubborn hamstrings responded dramatically. Seated leg curls, which stretch the muscle more due to hip flexion, led to significantly more hypertrophy than lying curls. And calves, those famously unresponsive muscles, nearly doubled in growth when trained only in the stretched bottom portion of the raise. All of this adds up to a powerful takeaway. Training your muscles in their stretched range triggers more growth than just pumping through the top or mid-range. It's not just a cool trick, it's a physiological advantage. When your muscle is under tension at its longest length, it experiences more fiber recruitment, greater mechanical tension, and in turn, greater protein synthesis. So if you want your training to work smarter, not harder, start treating the stretch part of your rep like the gold mine it really is. To make the most of stretch emphasis training and actually see fast, natural gains, You'll need to apply a few key strategies to your workouts, and apply them with intent. First and foremost, go all the way down and control the weight. Don't cheat your muscles out of their most productive position. That stretched, bottom phase of a rep is where the magic happens. When you lower the weight slowly, think 2 to 3 seconds on the eccentric, you create serious mechanical tension right when your muscle is longest. This isn't just about doing a rep, it's about doing the right rep. When you pause and let the stretch settle in, it's like giving your muscle a clear signal. Grow now. Next, it's time to choose the right exercises. Ones that don't just work the muscle, but stretch it in ways that force it to grow. Some lifts already do this naturally. Deep squats, for instance, take your quads and glutes through a full range of motion and give them a powerful stretch at the bottom. But not every muscle gets that same benefit with standard movements. That's where you need to get a bit more strategic. For muscles that cross two joints, what we call biarticular muscles, proper stretch requires the right angles. Take the hamstrings, for example. They cross both the hip and the knee. If you're doing lying leg curls, you're missing the stretch they get when your hips are flexed. That's why seated leg curls or Romanian deadlifts are far better for lengthening the hamstrings under load. The same logic applies to the triceps long head, which spans the shoulder and elbow. You'll get far more out of overhead tricep extension than simple pushdowns, because the overhead position fully lengthens the muscle. And then there's the biceps, the muscle every lifter wants to peak, yet so many train ineffectively. Standard curls often keep your elbows by your side, which doesn't stretch the long head enough. Instead, go for incline dumbbell curls or behind the body cable curls, where your elbows drift slightly behind your torso. That position lengthens the biceps and primes them for serious growth. All of these tweaks matter. They're not just fancy variations, they're biomechanically superior for hypertrophy. By targeting muscles at their most stretched positions, you send a much stronger growth signal than with half reps or shortened ranges. So the next time you hit the gym, don't just go through the motions, pick the versions of exercises that challenge your muscles where it counts most, and watch the gains follow. To really accelerate your progress, train each muscle group at least twice per week. More frequent stimulation paired with adequate recovery leads to more consistent growth over time. That doesn't mean you need a complex split. Simple upper or lower or push-pull programs work just fine. The idea is to create repeated opportunities for your muscles to experience that high-tension stretch more often throughout the week. Now, once you've hit your full range sets, consider adding what's called lengthened partials as a brutal but effective finisher. These are short-range reps done only in the stretched portion of the movement. Say you're doing curls. After you can't get a full rep anymore, keep going with bottom half reps until your biceps are screaming. This technique isn't for the faint of heart, but it's highly effective. Just use it on controlled, isolated exercises, not heavy barbell lifts. Think of it as a final spark to light the growth fire you've been stroking throughout your workout. None of this works if your recovery is trash. Seriously, you can have the best stretch-focused routine in the world, but if your recovery sucks, your muscles won't grow. They'll just stay sore, tired, and frustrated, and so will you. Stretch emphasis training puts your body under serious tension, often at awkward, demanding angles that create deep fatigue. That extra stimulus is what makes it powerful, but it also makes it more taxing. If you're not giving your body what it needs to rebuild, you're just digging a deeper hole with every workout. Start with nutrition. Think of protein as your construction crew. It repairs and builds the muscle fibers you broke down in training. If you're undereating, especially protein, your crew doesn't show up. Aim for around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, spaced out across meals so your body gets a steady supply of building blocks throughout the day. And don't shy away from carbs. They help restore glycogen and support intense training sessions. If your main goal is to grow, consider eating in a slight calorie surplus. You don't need to go full dirty bulk, but you do need to give your body enough energy to build, not just survive. Sleep is another non-negotiable. This is when your body actually repairs and grows. Deep sleep spikes growth hormone and testosterone, helping you recover faster and build more efficiently. Skip out on quality sleep, and your training gains literally evaporate. I always say, treat your bed like your best training partner. Respect it, show up on time, and don't miss your sessions. Recovery days matter just as much as workout days. Light movement, mobility work, stretching, maybe even a walk outdoors. These all help boost blood flow, reduce soreness, and keep your body in peak condition. It's not about being lazy. It's about giving your body the time and tools to actually adapt. Don't sabotage your own progress by ignoring the basics. Train smart with stretch-based tension, yes, but also eat well. sleep enough, and recover with intention. That's the great growth formula. Your body doesn't build muscle during the set, it builds it in between sessions, when you're resting, refueling, and letting those stretched fibers repair stronger than before. Skip recovery, and even the smartest training plan won't deliver. Fuel your muscles with enough protein, manage your stress, and treat sleep like your most powerful legal performance enhancer. Combine all that, stay consistent, and you'll see the kind of natural, sustainable gains most people chase for years. And you'll do it without needing some magic pill or gimmick. Stay patient, trust the process, and let your results speak for themselves. That's how you build a physique that lasts. If you want to learn the differences between hypertrophy and strength training, make sure to watch the next video.